And so at the end of the day, we talk about a vision, we talk about a process, we talk about tools, all those kind of things. At the end of the day, then that all boils down to, what I loosely call the planning nirvana, right? So what does that look like, John, for, you've obviously got some clients that have gotten there that you're working with. What is their experience when they get to that point?
Well, their experience is a number of things. One, FPA is not working nights and weekends to try to execute planning functions, right? They're actually getting to invest in the responsibilities and processes by which they are paid to do, and what the school for is to really analyze the business. And the reason is that the Nirvana aspect of it is that you have decentralized the planning function across the organization. So the stakeholders who are responsible for the certain areas, they're involved in that process. They're actually providing the metrics and input relative to their respective areas, and that all flows into the continuous planning capability, and it all ties together to produce the actual results. I'll give you a really good example. We have a client, it's the largest corporate travel services organization in the world, $50 billion company. And what they do is they actually have account managers around the world as part of the process and in the system, giving monthly updates on what they're expecting to see from a transaction standpoint. Airlines, hotel bills, hotel stays, rental cars, everything that kind of comes along with travel. The account managers are actually providing that insight. So then it allows finance to take that, run their calculation, run their scenario analysis, index it appropriately to realize what their revenue expectations and expense expectations may be as a result of operations being directly involved in the process. That's a decentralized process. Gives you a lot more insight and a lot more granularity to what's really driving the business, allows many people to be involved in it so that finance really can govern the process, see the results, run the scenario, run the indexing to what that's going to realize for the organization, and have a lot more insight and granularity to what's actually happening across the continuum itself. That's planning nirvana for you.
Jim, any thoughts on that? I know John just gave an example of a $50 billion organization, but obviously we work with much smaller companies as well, and I would think that there's nirvana there as well. So, any thoughts from your standpoint on that?
There is, yeah, there is, and ultimately today's technology really does enable it, right? The cloud-based environment, the APIs, the connectivity is going to enable it. So for me, where I see the nirvana is the moment that a sales guy books something and in the CRM system, that contract flows into the accounting system, flows into the planning system, and now somebody can actually start forecasting out, when do we think we're going to see the revenue? When do we think we're going to see the cash? Somebody's able to put the budget in on the project. That flows out. When do we expect that to be spread out, right? So you're getting this instantaneous ability where the data is flowing, because literally, at least in the integrations that we're doing, we're looking at that data is moving between systems every 5 minutes at most, right? So that data is now flowing and people have that visibility. And then you can go ahead and, because you've got that model, you now have got the matrix, you know what the expectation is of, this is what I expect we're going to recognize, this is what I expect those costs. And now that gets pushed back down to the managers that are being held accountable for its delivery. And they're able to see whether they're on target, and they're going to know how to tweak and adjust it because they've been trained to do that. And so that's really what I see as that nirvana of that whole process is, you're going directly from close of sale almost to immediately to planning of how that's going to affect. And ultimately, that's going to allow you to make decisions now that says, I'm seeing a peak in my sales. I can see where the revenue is. I can see where the cash is. Can I afford that extra person? Am I able to make that new gamble into that new division? And so now you've got that real-time plan that's able to expand out to make decisions based off of where you think they're going to be in the next 3 months. And then you're able to hold accountable or measure your management team against that. To me, that's nirvana, right? And that's how I'd love to see that whole process working. And that's what we're trying to drive our clients through that. And they're all at different stages because it can't be done with one system, right? The people that believe one ERP system can handle all of that, it's not going to get the power that you're going to get in today's cloud-based environment that give you a best-in-breed solution.